guys, it's me, Suzette Montalvo. I'm back. I realized I never made empanadas. And, you know, considering we're all on some severe lockdown, by the way, Margarita, she's my new best friend since lockdown. But I figured I would make beef and cheese empanadas and also some stuffed plantains, since we are doing the picadillo, which is the chopped meat that goes into a lot of things actually that we make. And the best thing about this is that you can buy these frozen already done like this, so it's gonna cut out a step for you, which is amazing. I'm all about trying to rush things along. This is one of the most favorite things on my food truck, so I can't wait to show you. Let's start off with how to start making the picadillos. Okay guys, when you get your chopped meat, I have about, I'm gonna say about 3 pounds of chopped meat here. And what you want to do is you want to get chopped meat that's like 80% lean, so that you don't have too much fat in it, because you don't want it to be very fatty. If you use ones that have, you know, a lesser quality, you're gonna have, it's just not gonna taste very good, in my opinion. So you want to brown your meat. We need some comfort foods. I know these are very difficult times for all of us, and we're trying to make it through. And I was like, you know what? We need comfort foods, and this is one thing I haven't done on my channel. So I'm really excited to show you 2 ways on how to use this picadillo, which is you could actually just eat it like that once everything is seasoned nicely. And when you are browning your chopped meat, if you see a lot of liquid, what you want to do is drain it. Okay, so this one, like I said, it's 80%, so it's very lean. Okay, which you really want to do. So we're just going to continue to brown this, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay guys, my meat is browning up very nicely, and now's the time. I did drain some of the liquid that I had in here. You can keep a little bit of liquid, and it's not a big deal, but you want to take out, if it's a lot of liquid, you want to take that out, because it's just going to make it greasy. Okay, so what are we going to do? So we're going to add, I'm going to add one of my cubes of sofrito. I'm going to add 1 packet of sazon. Just sprinkle that in there. I also forgot to mention some adobo. You want some flavor in there. So of course, you know guys, I have my homemade adobo, which you can find how to make homemade adobo on my YouTube channel. And that is just amazing. So you want to do that. If you're using the store-bought adobo, just be mindful, store-bought adobo is salty. So you want to be mindful of how much of that adobo you use. So this is going to be, like I said, you want to use a 16-ounce can. I have a very large can. I'm not using the whole thing. And you're going to mix this all together. That sofrito is going to melt in there. Okay, if you use frozen sofrito, no big deal. Just throw it in there. I'm going to use my adobo. And I'm just going to sprinkle some in there. Because what you want to do is you want to taste this. Okay. And I am going to use a little kosher salt, because my adobo is not salty. So just a little sprinkle in there. Maybe a half a teaspoon, you can start there, because this is, obviously you want to taste it and make sure that it's flavorful, okay? Now the other thing that I put in here are olives. If you do not like olives, then obviously you can omit that, but I am an olive person, and so is my family, so. We're going to put olives in it as much as you like. There is no measurements, requirement. You're going to put what you like or don't like. That's what you're going to omit, okay? The great thing about empanadas or pastillos, as Puerto Ricans call them, is that anything you put in that shell is delicious. Now, I fry my pastillos, as most Puerto Ricans do, but I do have some customers that don't want fried food, and they put it in the oven, in the air fryer especially, and you can do that. However, I am going to let you know now, it does tend to be a little drier. So if you intend to use your air fryer to do your pastelillos, you can. It does taste good. Just the dough is a little dry. So we're gonna let this cook, and we're gonna start preparing our empanada shells, which I buy the pre-made ones. My meat's done, I tasted it. Now that's what you wanna do. You wanna taste your meat. Make sure you have enough salt, enough seasoning to your liking. Remember, you're the cook. I'm just guiding you. So make sure everything is seasoned well and you have enough salt and all that good jazz. So what I like to do when I make my empanadas is I like to have this cool down and put it in the refrigerator to get a little bit hard. It's just easier to fill your empanada shells when this meat is actually cold. So that's what I like to do. You can certainly go ahead and do it, but it's gonna be a little messy if you start with very hot meat. So let this cool down a little bit, put it in the fridge, let that cool down, and you'll have some nice cold meat to deal with, and it'll be a lot easier and less messy. While the meat is chilling, let's move on to the mayo ketchup, which, don't judge me, I know I'm saying it wrong. I'm always getting corrected by my customers. But honestly, I never grew up on this, so I did some investigation. I guess maybe because my grandma, abuelita, did not like anybody putting any kind of sauce on her food, especially ketchup. So maybe this is why we didn't know about it, but I honestly never grew up on this. So anyway, with that being said, the rule of making mayo ketchup, at least my way, is it's 2 to 1. Okay, so you want to do 2 parts of mayo, and 1 part mayo and 2 parts ketchup. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 of the mayo. Okay, and you're gonna use ketchup. I use Hellmann's. I probably should have name dropped, but whatever. And I'm gonna do 3. 1. And I'm just really freehanding this, guys. It's really to your liking. I'm just giving you the basics, and you can add more ketchup if you like. I mean, this is the rules that I use to make it. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix that together, okay? And to make it really our own, see the color? Okay, that's the coloring you want, okay? So 2 mayos, 3 ketchup. Now, I like to add a little hot sauce to mine. You don't have to, that's up to you. This is my homemade hot sauce, but you can use any hot sauce that you like. Okay, and I'm just gonna mix that in. So it's gonna give it a little heat. Nothing, I don't want it to be too spicy. I just want it to give it a nice little tang, a nice little zing to your mouth. I have garlic. I'm using 2 cloves of garlic. You can use more. If you want it to be more garlicky, absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna add my garlic and I'm gonna mix that in there. Okay, doesn't that look delicious, guys? It's gonna be so good with the empanadas. I have to say, I do like it now that I make it. And then I'm going to use some lime juice. Okay, you're just gonna put 2 squirts. Okay, and that's gonna give it a nice little zest to your sauce. Okay. And I also do add a sprinkle of black pepper. I use a, not a fine grind, but a more of a coarse one. So you're gonna be able to see that pepper in there, okay? What do I do now is I taste it. And at this point, if you feel that your mayo ketchup needs anything, this is the time. You wanna add more garlic, you wanna make it a little bit more lemony, you wanna add more hot sauce, you can. I think it's pretty good. However, I am gonna add a little bit more hot sauce to give it a little bit more of a zingy flavor. And that's it, guys. So what do you wanna do? You wanna refrigerate this and get ready for your empanadas, and this could be your side sauce for your empanadas. I don't put it on my sweet bananas, but you know what? People use this sauce on everything, so you can do, if you love it, you can put it on absolutely everything. That's it for mayo ketchup, which on the food truck, I happen to call it fry sauce. But same thing, guys. Okay, guys, since we are doing a 2-prong kind of video today, because why not? I'm feeling a little sassy. So we have the meat already. So I'm gonna do canoas, which are stuffed sweet plantains, otherwise known as canoes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm using an aluminum pan. If you wanna use a regular pan, that's fine. And I'm going to put some cooking spray on it, just at the bottom so it doesn't stick. Now, like I said, this is like a life-changing event because these are already frozen in the supermarket, just like this. So it's really saving me a step, I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving this, okay? So what you wanna do is you wanna place your sweet plantains, if you're buying the frozen ones, because you know they're already pre-cooked. So you're really just kind of warming it through, which is awesome. So what you want to do is make a slit, and you want to make a little channel in there, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna stuff that with our picadillo, and you're going to bake it. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a nice slit. Make sure you open that up. Now, when you buy the frozen ones, you want to defrost them a little bit, because then it would just not work. So you want to leave it out on the counter, and they defrost very quickly, which is pretty awesome. These are a little bit frozen still, which I kind of want it to be a little bit frozen because it's a little bit more firm, okay, and it's not very mushy. And what you're gonna do is stuff this. Now you can put, sometimes I put queso fresco on top of it, which you certainly can do. It's also delicious. And what you want to do is just put your meat right in there. Again, guys, this is a delicious sweet and savory dish. This is going to go fantastic with some white rice, so you may want to do that. This goes in the oven. I am preheating the oven right now as we speak to 350 degrees. At this point, once you add your meat, and if you did have some cheese, I usually just put it right on top and let that cook in the oven. So look at this. Oh my God, it's so good. I can't wait to have this for dinner tonight. Okay, guys, so this is your canoas. Aren't they pretty? Actually, and then if you put the cheese on top, it's such a pretty thing. Such a pretty look. So I'm gonna put this in the oven, and basically what you wanna do is you wanna cook this and have this brown up. It's gonna take about, I would say 30 to 45 minutes once you see it browning up, because the meat's cooked. The sweet plantains are cooked, so you just really want to make that all mesh together. And the sweet plantains are a little frozen, so you just want to cook that through, and you may want to pump up the temperature and brown that sweet banana on the outside. Okay, guys, I am using the pre-made discs. I use the Goya brand, and there's paper in between, so you would want to take off the paper. I'm using parchment paper. I'm also going to do cheese in mine, but if you're not a cheese person, then don't use cheese. I just ripped that one, so be careful. They come frozen. You want to defrost them. I'm using parchment paper, and I'm just going to lay them out and make a nice batch. I'm only doing 10 today. This is just my husband and I, and my son, who impatiently, I should say, is waiting for this. So just do your parchment paper, lay out as many as you can, and get it done. Now, people use different gadgets to make empanadas. I always go back to my handy dandy fork. Now, if you're gonna use a fork, my only advice is make sure that it's a pretty strong fork, because there's a lot of pressing involved. So I have damaged quite a bit of forks until I found this really sturdy one, and now it has been the empanada fork. So now if you're doing cheese, first thing you want to do is put your cheese in the middle of each empanada. In the meantime, I am warming up my oil in my frying pan. Now, if you have a little fry daddy, a little fryer, that's even better, which I didn't feel like taking mine out. So we're going to do it on the stove. And you want to use vegetable oil or corn oil. You do not want to use olive oil, because it burns too quickly and you're going to burn your empanadas. So I use actually a cookie, which you could do. Don't have one, use a spoon. So what you want to do is take your meat and put it right in the middle. Okay, right in the middle. Look at how pretty. So there's no science. You don't want to overfill, because then closing it is a problem. So I find this little gadget that I have here is pretty awesome. It gives me just enough meat. You got enough meat in the middle. I didn't let this really set too long, so it's a little more watery than I like. I usually leave it in the fridge and let it get nice and hard. It's just a lot easier to make your empanadas. But for time's sake, we're kind of moving a little quickly today. So what you want to do is you want to fold your empanadas like this, and I pinch it. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Pinch it. I usually do them all at once and then seal them shut. So you do it the way you're comfortable with, and that's just as good. That being said, you're gonna seal them all up just like that. We're gonna get our handy dandy very technical fork. And you're just gonna press down, okay? This is what you wanna do. Press it down, nice and hard, because you want that to seal. Now, some people will turn it around and press it again. I've never found the need to do that. They fry it very nicely like that. If you feel comfortable doing it that way, by all means, do it that way. I don't. Some people even put an egg wash on the edge. Again, never found the need to do it. I've never had a problem frying them. So I don't think it's a big deal, but you know what? I want you guys to do what you feel comfortable doing. This is the way I do it. And when you are frying your empanadas, you want to have that on a medium heat. You do not want to make the heat too high because it's just going to brown it too quickly. And you want to use, again, vegetable oil, medium heat. And you want to put enough oil in your pan that it's going to cover your empanada. Okay guys, I think my oil is hot enough. We're going to do a little test run here. Yes, so you see how that's sizzling a little bit? And you see how much oil I have in there? Okay, because you want to at least cover that bottom piece. You don't want to put too little bit of oil. Okay, so that oil is really good. I'm going to drop a few more. So when you drop your empanadas, you don't want to overcrowd them because you need space to turn them over. Okay, so we're going to let that brown on one side. Again, your heat should be medium. This is about the amount of oil you want in your pan. So just keep on pressing your empanadas and making the rest of them. Hey guys, look at that. It's cooking up so nicely. So I'm going to turn that around. And they do kind of blow up, you see that? That's okay. So if they're brown on one side, you're going to flip it over so you can brown the other side. See how you don't want to overcrowd it because you want to have the space to move them. Okay, you may have to kind of go this way because it's blowing up a little bit on that side to make sure it's browned completely. Try not to make a mess. I know that's hard. So that is, I think, ready on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of use a spatula to get out some of that. Be careful now, guys. This is very hot oil. And you want to be careful when you lift it out. And just put it on a paper towel to dry. To, not dry, but get the oil out of it. Okay, guys, the finished product. We have our beef and cheese empanadas. How amazing does that look? We have our canoas, which is stuffed with the same picadillo and a little white rice on the side, guys, and this is going to be amazing. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know we're dealing with really rough times right now, but I please pray that you keep safe, healthy, and positive. We shall overcome this. We are strong people, so we will get through this. And I hope you enjoyed my video. Please visit me at Anewyoricanthing food truck if you're ever in Long Island. Visit my website, Anewyoricanthing.com, and I'll see you soon.